Defeated, broken, and hopeless are the three words that describe me best before my experience with the family tree.
For Jorja Bennett, the warning signs of domestic violence in her relationship were visible from the start. Her partner's arrest record filled with domestic violence and stalking charges, his extreme jealousy, and his history of violent mood swings. But the relationship was also sprinkled with good times, promises of love and commitment, gifts and compliments, and more apologies than she could count.
My relationship with Chris lasted 4 years. In the beginning, I was very vulnerable as I had just left another abusive relationship. But Chris was different. He was charming, he was sweet, and he was handsome. And he was really nice when he wanted to be. But the good times didn't last long. I remember trying to leave our 4-year relationship at least 6 to 7 times.
The last time Jorja attempted to leave, she chose to move herself and her then 9-year-old son Ethan out of the town of Steamboat, Colorado. She assumed this would be the best way to break ties with her perpetrator. And although she had filed a protection order against him, the next time Jorja saw Chris, he was standing in her living room after breaking down her front door.
The entire interaction is a blur. I remember Chris would throw things across the room, and then ultimately it would be me. And every single time I would hit the floor. I remember crawling to try to reach my cell phone and try to call for help.
Hearing the altercation, neighbors called 911. Eventually, the police arrived to find Jorja with numerous injuries, her apartment destroyed, and Chris gone.
It was definitely the most horrific attack I'd ever experienced. And to make it worse, my son Ethan saw the whole thing. I remember looking at my son as the police questioned me, and I remember thinking, I failed my son. That night while in the hospital, I made the decision to reach out for help, and I made the decision to call Family Tree Women in Crisis.
Providing a confidential place to stay is just one component of Family Tree Women in Crisis. The advocacy, support, information, and community resources provide the foundation that survivors need in order to make courageous life decisions to be safe, which is often a very overwhelming experience.
My stay at Women in Crisis was really challenging. I had a lot of difficult interactions with the other residents there. I was unsure about what to do next. I was unsure about the services they offered, and I was unsure about how to receive the help. I was so anxious about everything that was happening to me at the time. I don't think that I slept one single night while at the shelter. But looking back, knowing the support was there from the victim advocates, knowing that they were there for me, and if I wanted the help, I could reach out and get the help from them.
Upon leaving Women in Crisis, Jorja and Ethan were referred to Family Tree's Housing Services Program in April 2011. The Housing Services Program provides comprehensive support services for homeless families and individuals. The program promotes safe and stable families through case management and affordable housing programs.
Safe, stable housing was our overall goal, but after meeting Jorja, I knew we had a lot of other things to focus on. The years of mental, emotional, and physical abuse had led to Jorja being diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, PTSD, and major depression. In addition, Ethan was diagnosed with PTSD, and at the time, neither were getting treatment.
Cassie did her best to help me prioritize my goals, which were reaching out for therapy, securing housing, and filing for a divorce. But unfortunately, I was unable to focus on anything other than the fact that my son was getting ready to testify in court against Chris. I was terrified, but Ethan was fearless.
I wasn't afraid to testify. I finally got to tell someone what I felt and saw and heard and like the whole thing, and I did it all to help my mom.
Ethan was so brave, and the true turning point for Jorja was his willingness to do anything to help his mom. Chris was found guilty of all charges and sentenced to 1 year in jail. From that point on, we started working on positive changes in Jorja's life.
What I can't do for myself, I know I can do for my son. And Ethan is my greatest inspiration in my life. And after Chris went to jail, I knew that it was time to get my life together.
We began by focusing on good mental health for both Jorja and Ethan. For Jorja, the therapy was an opportunity to start dealing with the issues she's faced her entire life. And for Ethan, therapy helped uncover some deep issues he was still facing due to his recent experiences.
For months, Ethan would run home from school and change into his Army gear. Knowing he wanted to be a soldier when he grew up, Jorja thought of this as simple child's play. However, in therapy, Ethan disclosed that he ran home in fear because he believed that he would find his mother dead. And he dressed up as a soldier so that he could protect her from his stepfather, who he knew would one day attempt to kill his mother.
For Ethan, it wasn't if Chris broke in, it was when. And the stress due to his mother's safety led to an ulcer.
It definitely wasn't an easy time for us. Between going to therapy appointments, Ethan's doctor appointments, the least of my worries was trying to look for a job. Although it would have been easy to give up, and there were many moments that I wanted to give up, Cassie never gave up on me.
At Family Tree, we believe in addressing the needs of the whole person to create lasting change. Knowing that maintaining the mental and physical health of her family was important, this housing program allowed her the gift of time to focus on those issues. I believe this saved her family. In addition, we were able to help Jorja find housing, subsidize her rent, pay her utility bills, and obtain the necessary household items like beds and dressers. The combination of support services and financial assistance helped stabilize her family.
I'm grateful to Family Tree for all that they've been able to do for me and my son. But mostly I'm grateful to Cassie for being here for me when I didn't believe in myself. She never gave up on me. And for that, I'm grateful forever.
Today, Jorja is able to maintain her housing through her job as an assistant manager of a local retail store. She hopes to one day use her talents as a chef to help women and children in need. When asked what 3 words she would use to describe herself today, she says,
Today, I'm hopeful, confident, and full of faith.
Thank you, Family Tree.
Thank you, Family Tree.